Hi, good afternoon. I am here today with Susan Taylor, President and CEO of Juice It Up. Susan, thank you for taking the time to talk with me
Oh,
today.
absolutely.
We're here at the first NRA show in 3 years.
Mhm.
A lot has been going on in the world since then. Why don't you
Yes.
catch me up on Juice It Up and how you guys have been doing during the pandemic?
Okay. Well, uh, a lot has happened. It seemed like the bottom fell out
A little
in
bit.
February of 2020, but as a brand, we're doing really, really well. The brand is a 27-year-old brand, started in Southern California, and is known for raw juice bars, smoothies, and acai bowls. We've had a relationship with Amazon for 20 years, so we have a very dedicated core of customers, and during the pandemic, we kept all of those customers, and we had a lot of folks that, as they were looking for ways to, bolster their immunity, or I think, the pandemic really highlighted the need to eat healthier or live a healthier lifestyle. We found a lot of folks that I think discovered the brand. It's interesting because we get a lot of people now thinking we're an up and coming brand, and it's like, yeah, we've been up and coming for 27 years, but we had the same challenges that everybody had in
Sure.
February, where it seemed like the bottom dropped out, and everybody was wondering, how are we going to navigate through this? We're a franchise company. We have one company location and then 84 franchise locations. So a lot of our owners were like, what's going to happen? What are you going to do to help us? So we had to kind of navigate through just what was happening and everything you had to do to keep the team and the guests safe, but also how we were going to help them keep their business and grow their business. So that's been a huge focus for us for the past 2.5 years, and it's really put us in a great position as we start 22.
That's great. Yeah, I know that quick service restaurants seem to be having a somewhat easier go of it
Yes.
than full service brands. Is there anything new operationally that you've implemented during the pandemic?
So, it was, as I said, it was a 27-year-old brand. The owners that own the brand now, Chris Britt and Ed St. Jim, when they came in, had started to do some updates. We didn't have a mobile app. We had a loyalty app, but we didn't have mobile pay. So the only way you could use us in February was to either walk in or call, which really limited it. So we were in process of launching Order Ahead. We did that. Um, the owners also own another concept called Mountain Mike's Pizza, and we were able to leverage their enterprise account with a third party and bring those on board. So we just looked at all the different sales levers we can pull for the owners to drive people in, and that's become a core part of our business. I mean, we're really focused on the digital footprint and expanding that, making it easier for the guests to be able to use us, with some of the pressures from labor. We serve a handcrafted, made for you product, so we can't take any shortcuts when someone comes in and order it. So we're looking at various other ways to be able to lighten the labor load. So Order
Yeah.
Ahead, third party, all of those that we can keep people in production and not necessarily having to take orders. That's been a huge focus for us as well.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and speaking of those labor shortages, I mean, that's an industry-wide problem right now. Is there anything special you're doing in terms of recruitment or retention, or just trying to lighten the load on your team a little bit?
Yeah, that was huge for our owners. Were really like, there were some that I think for our owners, for those that really, I think had an idea of how they hired and how they retained, it was still challenging, but not as much as perhaps some other owners that there had always been availability of staff, and so when they were suddenly faced with a short supply, or people that were being a little more judicious in where they were going, we there's a ton of tech out there. Everybody's got an app to help you hire and train and recruit. We looked at all the different ones. We beta tested with franchisees. We said, we don't have a magic bullet. We're going to look at everything. So we've beta tested, with different franchisees where we brought the programs in, and then we get their feedback on how it does, so that when we have something for the whole system, we have something that we can validate through our franchisees that it actually worked. We also just updated our website so people can apply directly through the website, which franchisees love. But we're doing everything we can just to help them do it in various different ways.
That's great, and it's great that with a franchise system, you can kind of like test different things and see
Yeah.
what sticks.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Another big struggle for restaurants the last couple of years has been the supply chain, both for ingredients and for tech and operationally.
Right.
And I'm sure, with your custom made, better for you ingredients, you're probably particular about the ingredients, rightfully so.
Right.
What has that experience been with you, and how have you navigated these challenges?
It's, we call it the Godzillas that come out of the ocean. You don't know when they're going to come out, but they do. And it's changed from year to year. I mean, last year it was all about delivery drivers and, distribution centers not having enough staff to be able to pick it. So we were managing through, just getting the product to the stores. We had all the product. We just couldn't get it in.
Right.
We do have, we're very specific on the products that we use, the raw ingredients. So I'm blessed that I have a fantastic VP of supply chain. She's been with the company for 18 years, and we have long-term contracts, and we had assurance of supply. The things that challenged us were one of our suppliers ran out of packaging material. So they had the product, they could make the product, they couldn't package it. So, we really learned last year, and I hate to use the word pivot, but we really did say, you know what, we have to have a backup plan to a backup plan to a backup plan. So we've got like alternate suppliers if we need to. We're looking at, where everything's coming from, and just making sure that if something happens, we're not like dead in the water, because that was super frightening too, right? When
Sure.
you get a supplier that calls you and says, we're going to have to shut down our plant for a month, and we only have 3 weeks worth of supply, we had to very quickly find somebody else. We've also used a partner, RPP. It's with Consolidated Concepts, that has been a boon to us, because they've been able to, Melissa's a band of one, so having to go through and find, alternate suppliers can take up all of her day while she's trying to manage her day job. So they've been really great in being able to, because they have a wide network, they're able to say, you're looking for this, here's these other suppliers. So that's been a big help as well too.
That's great. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot about teamwork and people jumping in and helping each other out
Yeah.
across the board, which is so great. So kind of related to supply chain, another big ongoing issue right now is inflation,
Right.
which is impacting, again, every area of every business and the consumer. How is it impacting Juice It Up, and are you looking at menu price increases? How are you dealing with this challenge in particular?
So yeah, I mean, naively we thought at the beginning of the year maybe 7%, and it's exceeded that. We're really looking at the cost, the raw cost. We, very careful about what the theoretical is. It's a lot of education and conversation with the franchisees on the impact that price takes and what they actually should be taking to be able to cover that, because there is, with inflation and things becoming kind of discretionary, or the cost of a smoothie is the same as a gallon of gas. There's that fear for me that we're going to have folks that are, going to, lessen the amount of times that they come to us. So it's really making sure the franchisees understand the impact of how they price and how they're able to do it to be able to cover that. But
Sure.
yeah, it is every week we get somebody calling us because they've had to adjust. Thankfully it's not impacted the business so severely that, we've had to take a radical price increase, but we're keeping an eye on it as we go through.
Yeah, of course. Well, hopefully, knock on wood, we're emerging from the pandemic. Some of these pressures are hopefully going to ease soon. What's ahead for Juice It Up? What are you looking forward to?
So we're, as I said, we're a 27-year-old brand. We really have started through the pandemic, had people that had come in and now are interested in owning their own. So we're actually starting to really gear up to be able to expand. Our 5-year goal is to be at 200 stores.
Okay.
Right now we've opened, I opened a store, I've opened 5 stores so far this year. I have 4 more by the end of this next year, and then we have 10 on the books for next year, including our first drive-through. So, we're having people that are coming in. We're very careful about our growth strategy, supply chain, making sure that we can support the franchisees so that they're successful, and we're not just growing for the sake of growing, but very smart about how we do it. But I'm excited for that, and I'm also excited watching the owners. I mean, we've doubled our average AUV in
Wow.
by 50% in the past two and a half years. So watching them be able to really see how their sales can grow and what the things are that we're doing that are really helping them drive sales. It's fun watching them get super excited about their business. And we have a lot of our internal franchisees now that are looking at what the opportunities are for them. So that's really what we're focused on.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Susan Taylor, thank you for taking the time today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.